As you guys know, I'm starting to write this content for a course that I'm about to launch that it's going to be vibe coding with AI. And this course is going to encourage every single person doing it to be very public about what you're building and what you're learning. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to follow my own example and I'm going to show you how I'm building this course, what I'm using. I'm using Cursor. And even though Cursor is only a coding editor, I think it should be also a writing editor because it's very good for writing if you use the same process that you would use to write code. So here on the left, you can see that I have rules. These rules are rules that normally are used for coding. Like you would say here things like never use classes, always use functions if you're doing JavaScript. But I'm writing. So you can do rules like, for example, tone and voice. You can tell Cursor from now on, everything that you write for me using I want you to do it by, let's say, for example, by sprinkling in light humor or using first and second person pronouns and all of those things. So maybe you think that I sit down and started writing all of this, but that's not how it works. What I did, and I would recommend you to do the same, is that I went to Grok, that it's another AI, and I shared an article with Grok that I really like that I wrote without AI. I wrote it myself. And by passing that article, I told Grok, okay, build the cursor rules for me. And it started building a bunch of rules. And then I obviously read them, modify them. And after a lot of modifications, I'm really happy with these ones that I have here. And some of them were written by me. But this one in particular, the tone and voice, was written by Grok. And I already tested it. And I think I managed to have a very good tone and voice. I really like it. I think it sounds like me. Like this AI, it's writing articles in a way that it sounds like I wrote them. And then obviously you have other rules that you have to apply. Like for example, the structure. I don't want to use any H1s because I know that 4Geeks.com already includes the H1s or the first headings of the articles. I do want the AI to create the H2s and H3s, but I don't want any H4s or 5. And those type of little things, like technical things. But also I want, at the beginning of every article, I want to have a title, tag, and a description. And this is really important for SEO purposes, but also to organize and catalog the content. Because tomorrow, when you are in 4geeks.com, for example, when you're reading a particular lesson in 4geeks.com, it will come with technologies here at the top. And these technologies are coming actually from here, from the markdown, from the top. So then I can group all the lessons tomorrow by tag or whatever, and then it makes the content way more indexable. So I'm just telling the AI to do that. I'm also telling the AI that the code examples at 4geeks.com are allowed to have a runnable true. And then what that means is that if you're doing a code example and it has runnable true, it means you can run it. The student will be able to just press run and it will give an output of the console or the terminal and a bunch of things like that. But I think there's another one that is important that is SEO. And this one is super cool because I've struggled a lot with this in the past. That when you write an article and you don't connect it to other articles in your website, then Google doesn't like it and nobody likes it actually because it's hard to index. Like if you have this is called an orphan article. So an orphan article is basically that once the scraper, like the Google Spider, lands into that article, it doesn't know where else to go because it doesn't have any other links. So you don't want to do that. It's 100% recommended that when you're doing articles, you connect a lot all the articles between themselves. So this particular rule is for that. I'm telling Cursor which are the other articles that I want to include in any article that I write because I have thousands of articles. So I don't want to connect all of them. I want all of them to connect to a few only. And how do I know which few? That's for another video, but in general, you would organize your entire website in topics, and we call this a topic cluster. And then any article that you write is going to point to one of the clusters because the clusters are like your main topics of your website. So I'm just downloading all these clusters using a Python script here on the left. Let me show you. Yeah, here on the left, I have a script section, and I'm downloading all these clusters from my website, and then I'm creating this SEO.mdc rule where all these clusters are listed. So once I have all these rules, I don't have to give much context to the AI if I want to create new articles. So, for example, let's create a new article now. I'm going to create a new article that I'm going to call it, let's say, what is AI? And then here, I'm just going to tell here, I would like you to write an article about what is AI and how it will change the job landscape in the next 10 years. That's it. So I'm just gonna let it think. By the way, I am not using, you have to choose a model when you start telling here at the bottom, you can see that you can choose a model here. So I am choosing O1 in this case because I think it's better than Sonnet or the other available models for writing. If I was coding, then I would choose Sonnet, but for writing, I would rather use O1. So I'm gonna pause to give it a second to think. Okay, so here it is. I got my answer back, and you can see here that the article was entirely written. It contains a format at the top with the title, the tags, and the description. It contains a link. Here it is. Look, a link to the Coding Bootcamp's Applied AI course. That it's meaningful. It makes sense to add that link here. You can see it in the SEO. You would see that it's here. Applied. Let me find it here. Give me a second. Applied AI course. Here it is. It's this one. So it actually included the article. And if you read it, I read it a little bit as well. You'll see that the tone it's amazing. I think it sounds like me. I need to work more a little bit on these rules and the context that I'm giving because I'm still not 100% happy with the article. But I think with a little bit more work, I'm going to be able to achieve, let's say, like 80% happiness on the articles being written. So yeah, this is how I'm writing the articles right now. I'm really interested in seeing your thoughts and listening to your thoughts and what will you change to this workflow that I have established. And yep, see you later.